All right. I think we're live. How many people do we have online with us?
I can see.
They're joining up. Let's see. 177.
All right.
Going up. All right. So we're gonna do a bunch of Q&A. We're gonna talk about different topics. Again, Kristen here is gonna help me answer the best questions. So make sure to compliment Kristen for all of the great work she's doing. This way your questions are going to get answered. She runs all of our marketing and she's done an amazing job branding the shirts, doing the huddle shirts, the hats, all the stuff, all the gear that you guys, even socks, huddle socks, guys, okay? If you want these, become an ambassador. And you're going to get a love package from all of us at Celsius. So we've got already 400 ambassadors who signed up to be part of the Celsius program. All right, so let's start with the first one. What's for lunch today?
A few people are asking what's our competitive advantage over other brands like Nexo.
What's our competitive advantage? So the most competitive advantage is all about the fact that everything we do is for the community. When we earn anything, 80% of that goes back to the community. No one else does that, right? So BlockFi, Nexo, all these other companies are not really there to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and give it back to you. You cannot get Bitcoin from Nexo, right? You cannot get Ethereum from Nexo. More coins on your coins. So we have a lot of copycats today. We basically invented this whole idea of paying interest on crypto. All these guys, Nexo, BlockFi, used to charge you 18 to 24% to borrow money against your crypto. Celsius came in, started charging 6, 7, 8%. So we dragged everybody else down to pay the same, to charge you a third of what they used to charge you before. So just think about all the money these guys made before Celsius showed up and forced everybody to give really good rates to the community. So that's, I would say, the main advantage. But look, we're here to create a new system that acts in your best interest. And I think we've proven that over the last 2 years. Everything we do, everything we build is for you to make it better and easier for you to live your life, pay your bills, and actually have your money work for you instead of you working for your money, right? All right, next question.
People are asking about the Cell token and what our strategy is for it.
The Cell token, what is that? No, just kidding. So the Cell token is part of this flywheel. So let's connect all the dots. Let's start from the beginning. So the first thing that happened at Celsius is that we get deposits, right? People lend us their coins. You the viewers, you the users of Celsius, lend us your coins. We put those coins to work. The coins produce income, right? And we then use the income to either distribute BTC and ETH and the 25 other coins we have to you every Monday, or about 48% of the community said, I don't want Bitcoin, I don't want Ethereum, I want you to give me Cell token instead. I believe in the Cell token. So we then have to go and buy the Cell token on exchanges with BTC, with ETH, and deliver that Cell token to the community. That's what we've been doing for about a year. And the purpose of the Cell token, it has 7 utilities. If you don't know what Cell token does, go to our website. There's a listing of all of those. There's also a great explanation on the community website called Celsians.com. Visit that site. It's run by a great guy named Johannes, who's been a big advocate of the Celsius community, of the crypto community. So you can go and understand all the details of how this stuff works. But the flywheel of more deposits, more loans, more income, more purchase of the Cell token should result in an increased price of the Cell token, right? So the more we buy, the more users we have, the more all of this works. And again, in the app, if you haven't used the app yet, or haven't used all the features in the app, if you open your Celsius app, you can see from the main menu, right? So if you use the main menu, there's a community page. If you click on the community page, right, you can see exactly how many users we have every day. This number changes, right? How much on deposits, how much interest we paid, what percentage of the community is using Sell, right? So you can see exactly in real time what that is every day. So you know in real time if the community is growing, are the deposits growing, are the amounts we earn growing. If all of that is growing, that means we will be buying more and more Sell token every week. So right now we have a very loyal Sell community. We're hopefully trying to grow it. Our mission is to bring 100 million people into crypto. We're only 57,000 users. But we're adding about 2,500, 2,700 a week right now. It's just over 10,000 a month. And that's double of what we used to add just a month ago, right? So we increased dramatically and still getting $1 to $2 million in deposits every day. So you can do the math. We're just over 400 million today. And, we plan to probably be at over $1 billion sometime next year. You can do the math of what that is, translates into in absolute interest distribution plus Sell buybacks. Next question.
Really
Why you came out on the photo?
Someone just told me I was in the shot.
That's good.
Are we planning on listing Sell on new exchanges?
Yes, we are planning to list Sell on new exchanges. We're going to be announcing several of those. Again, what we tried to do is make Sell accessible to as many people as possible. I know a few people were complaining about HitBTC. Why did you choose HitBTC? It's an example of an exchange that has millions and millions of users. There's some positive things about it, negative things about it, but the point is it provides access to many, many users. And that's what we're going to continue doing is provide access to our community on many, many different exchanges. Next question.
Okay, where does our interest come from?
Where does the interest come from? So I just answered that, but I'll answer it again. The interest that we earn comes from us lending assets. Again, we have 25 different assets, right? So obviously about half of it is BTC. Then we have a lot of cash. We have about $30 million worth of cash that the community is giving us in the form of stable coins as well as other assets we borrow. So we lend that, right? As we lend these things to both exchanges and hedge funds, right? So we collect coins from 57,000 users, right? These are the people that KYC'd on our platform. About 100,000 of them downloaded the app. About half of them did KYC or started KYC and gave us over $400 million. Now we lend that to exchanges and hedge funds. Why would exchanges want to borrow? So like over the weekend, if you saw all that volatility, the price of Bitcoin going up and down, during those periods, there's a huge demand from traders and from institutions to go on leverage. For example, buy Bitcoin on leverage or short Bitcoin. And we lend to the exchanges. Our counterparty is the exchange. Exchange pays us interest for providing these assets so they will have liquidity, so they can perform the functions that exchanges perform, right? Matching your orders and allowing you to short, allowing you to buy on margin, right? You have one Bitcoin, you want to buy a second Bitcoin. When exchanges do all of that, those coins don't come from the exchange. They don't come from Binance. They don't come from Bitfinex. They come from lenders like us. It's just that today when you put your coins with this or that custodian or this or that exchange, you don't even know that they lend it out on your behalf. And the exchanges keep all that profit to themselves, right? So when you hear Binance made $1 billion profit, a lot of that profit comes from them taking advantage of you giving them your money for free. You gave them your coins for free. So when they lend these things out, they keep all the profit to themselves, 100% of that to themselves. Celsius takes all that profit and gives 80% to the depositor. So you just have to decide who is acting in your best interest. And again, the more we extract off exchanges, the more coins we take off exchanges, the more we can charge. The more they have to pay us, the more we distribute back to the community. Next question.
Do we have any plans of a credit card?
So again, there are, I have 20 credit cards. Most of you have multiple credit cards. The last thing we need is one more credit card, right? So the only reason to do a credit card, and that's my goal for my team, is if we can create a card that is better than anything out there. Today, the best card I know is probably the Apple credit card that they've issued recently with Apple Pay. We have to do better than that. So the bar is very high, and we're working on it, but we don't have a card yet because we need to basically have a larger community, and then we can deliver a product that cannot be matched by anybody else. Again, we're going to be giving even more back to you. Things like 5% cashback. Anyone likes 5% cashback? There's 225 people on the stream. I'm sure most of you would say yay. And interest, that 5% cashback being paid to you in BTC, right, into your Celsius wallet, and then earn interest on top of that, right? Wouldn't that be amazing? So we want to do something that is amazing, that when you get it and you use it, you say, wow, I can't believe it. How come no one has ever done this before?
How can they know to trust Celsius?
How do you trust Celsius? So that's a very good question, and you should, all of the viewers, everybody should be doing their homework. Right, so we do everything we can to prove to our community that we're fully transparent, we're acting in your best interest, that we're here to really build a financial future, not just for you, but also for your kids and your grandkids, right? That's why I created the company. Me and Daniel created it because we believe that the financial system, the way it exists today, is not designed to help you or anybody out there. It's just designed to perpetuate the wealth aggregation and consolidation by the 1% of the entire population of the planet. Again, the 50 top people in the United States own half of all the wealth in this country. It's just crazy. So instead of talking about redistribution of wealth, higher taxes, and all that stuff, we designed a system that acts in your best interest, and now your money can work for you, and now you can actually create your own financial future instead of relying on politicians or anybody else to do that for you. So the way you trust Celsius is you check everything we say, right? Do we have the deposits? Do we earn the interest? Do we distribute it to our users? What are the users saying, right? What are vendors saying? So we publish, for example, our BitGo letter, both on Telegram and on Twitter. You can go and do a search and see that one of our vendors, which holds all the deposits that we receive for those 25 coins from the 57,000 people who registered with us, go into BitGo, right? So if BitGo does not say, hey, I received all this money and it came from all these different people, that's a very easy way to catch somebody lying and say, hey, you're not a truth teller. Earning that or earning those coins. Starting this week, we are publishing the wallet into which we will put all the earnings. So meaning you can track the BTC wallet, the ETH wallet, and so on and so on. It will be published this week on our website and made available to everybody, where you can track how much we earn, what's happening to the earnings, where did these sell tokens or BTC were bought, where they distributed to everybody else out there, full transparency. And again, we're doing that because we have nothing to hide. Try to ask any of these other guys we just talked about to show you how they earn the money that they're paying interest in, okay? All of our competitors were caught once or twice or several times basically saying, we're subsidizing, we don't really earn it. We don't know how Alex does it. We just take our investors' money and we use it to buy Bitcoin and pay 6% to our depositors. But we can't really keep doing it forever because we're not really earning those dollars. Our rates change every week because sometimes we earn more, sometimes we earn less. When you see other people not changing their rates, no matter what the market is, the market demand for coins, if you see the rates flat, that tells you there's a problem in that model. That tells you that these people earnings have nothing to do with actually earning anything for you.
Related, what happens if Celsius gets hacked?
So if we get hacked, that means BitGo got hacked. BitGo has over $100 million insurance per wallet. We have over 100 wallets, so we never keep too many coins in any wallet. But at the same time, we also transact through hot wallets. Insurance is only for cold storage. Our hot wallet provider, Fireblocks, is also insured. And we basically rely on those companies. These are some of the best companies in the world. Bitco has been around for almost 10 years. They've never got hacked. Binance got hacked, right? All the big guys got hacked. So we think we are, basically, if you trust Celsius, you're getting the BitGo custody for free, right? It costs $3,000 a month to be a BitGo customer. So we're basically subsidizing it to enable you not just to earn that for free, they also have withdrawal fees and everything else. We're paying for all those fees. You're not paying for anything, right? The depositor in our case does not pay for deposit, does not pay for withdrawal, does not pay for all these transactions going back and forth. All of that is part of our cost, and we subsidize it because we're earning the yield. So, but basically all of us are earning a little bit less because we have to pay these fees.
Okay, someone on Instagram wants to know, how do you get yourself in a productive state? Are you planning on writing a book anytime soon? They'd love to know more about your obstacles, your ups and downs, your life story.
Sure. So, I don't have an off switch. I'm like this 7 days a week. You're lucky you're not married to me. Imagine me talking in your ear like this 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So that's why I have 6 kids. This is my 8th company. Right? I've done 7 other startups before Celsius. I ran a public company before Celsius that had 1,500 employees and 400 million in revenues. I was paid millions of dollars. I had an easy job. I walked away from all of that because I felt that, again, my kids, all your kids do not have a future. They do not have a financial future. And the passion that I hope I'm sharing with you here is something that you need to share with others, right? We're only going to be successful if all of us convince all the doubters, all the fudders out there that this is in our best interest, that this is really here to enable all of us to have a future. So I disrupted several industries, right? So I created Voice over IP back in 1994 and wrote the patents, built the first gateways, and launched the first service, launched in Korea, then launched in Japan, and then really expanded this worldwide, where today, this is a voice of IP transaction. We take it for granted. You know, people don't even remember what it used to be, but we used to pay $2 or $3 a minute to a toll collector that basically decided how much we talk to our friends and family because it was so expensive. We replaced that with something that is free. So 4 billion people use it every day, right, worldwide. So the same thing we did for VoIP, we're now going to do for MOIP, money over IP. And we're going to replace the toll collectors, the banks, the financial institutions that suck all the profits from us with institutions that are acting in your best interest. And my desire, my dream is to die and have Celsius have hundreds of millions, if not billions of users who are living their life because the system is creating a financial freedom for you, because you saved, because you basically had your money work for you instead of you just working for your money. And one more important point, again, today the problem in the crypto community is that most of the people that we celebrate are just another form of a bank, right? Again, Binance or any other exchange today is a centralized toll collector. There's no difference between them extracting profits from you. Coinbase extracted $2 billion worth of profits since 2014. They take all that profit, they give it to the shareholders. Celsius takes all the profit and gives it to the depositor. So it's very simple. You have to decide every day, are you going to enable the people that take from you and give to their rich shareholders? None of the Coinbase shareholders need any more money, I guarantee you that. Or do you want to enable, as you transact, enable the other depositors? When you take a loan from Celsius and you pay us interest, we buy BTC with it and give it to our depositors. You show me anybody else that does that, right? So these are simple things that, you ask yourself, how come no one has done this before? And the answer is greed. The answer is that people got used to stealing so much from the average Joe that the idea that you can just give people back 80% and only keep 20% sounds ridiculous. It sounds like, oh my God, why would I do that if I can keep 100%?
All right, what do you think will happen to the crypto space during a recession?
So look, no one wants a recession, right? I mean, a recession is not something that is good for us or for you or anybody else. But the Bitcoin is a doomsday insurance policy. That's the only thing that's good for it. It's a store of value for doomsday, right? So today, Bitcoin is going up and down based on how many people believe in doomsday, right? And obviously, if a recession comes, then the number of people believing in doomsday is going to increase 10 or 100-fold, meaning the price of Bitcoin will rise as well, because many, many more buyers mean higher prices. So yes, we all are waiting for another 2008 because we want our Bitcoin prices higher, but you also have to think about the other billions of people around the planet, because when the United States gets a cough, and the rest of the world gets a lung disease, right? So we have to remember that the United States, the economy, the US economy is the barometer for the rest of the world. It is driving the economic activity all around the world. The US dollar is the dominant currency. So all these things are tied together. So you may be winning here, but you're gonna be losing there. So my vision of enabling cryptocurrencies is not relying on a recession. It's not relying on a doomsday scenario. If we enable people to earn real money, a real return on their assets, then you don't need a doomsday, right? 7 billion people want to earn more money on their money. All we have to do is convince them that instead of just having doomsday insurance, they should buy Bitcoin and have some of that. I'm also trying to convince everybody that the scenario in which we're creating an institution that is acting in your best interest, that is helping you unbank yourself and earn real interest. So your money is earning money. That is working during regular financial prosperity as well as during recessions or depressions, right? And the reason I created Celsius is because no one else has done this, right? I've been in this business for a long time. I held coins for a long time. I have not seen anyone who wanted to confront the banks, who wanted to create a new system. So I jumped in and started Celsius Network.
Can you talk about US users and their cell tokens?
So US users, again, the US is passing more and more strict regulations around cryptocurrencies. It's a good thing and a bad thing, right? We want clarity, we want regulatory clarity so we can operate. So Celsius, for example, again, we are a Delaware C Corp. We are registered, we filed a Reg D with the SEC. We are registered with FinCEN, right? We're now applying for licenses in different states, including different countries. So we follow all the regulatory regime, but as the regulations tighten, there are certain things we're allowed to do and certain things we're not allowed to do. So for example, US users can earn interest Bitcoin on Bitcoin. They can earn sell on sell. So you can earn all that interest. All of that got cleared by multiple lawyers and told us we're doing just fine in that. But there is uncertainty, lack of clarity on our ability to, for example, take Bitcoin and pay with Ethereum interest, right? Or take Bitcoin and pay with sell. So that area is still unclear. We're waiting for regulatory clarity. And as we get it, we will enable different services. You can see that the app, every version of the app has more functionality. For example, you can granularly now go and choose which coins you want to earn and sell, which coins you want to earn in Bitcoin. That is for non-Americans, right? Americans are still waiting for a resolution of that. But again, we have, I'm the largest cell token holder, and I earn interest on my coins, right? I earn interest by hodling my cell tokens at 4% right now, and because I believe that the value of the token will go higher.
What does it take to get an internship at Celsius?
Internship, very easy. You send us your resume, send it to Kristen@celsius.network, and you'll get your dreams come true. And you get all the swag for free. You can keep, we have winter swag and summer swag. You get coins. We got Celsius coins. If you haven't had these are amazing coins. In blockchain we trust. So plenty of swag, we pay money, nothing's free. You know, we believe in paying people for their hard work. And again, we have 400 ambassadors. If you want to do this more on a part-time basis, you don't want to show up in an office, sign up. There are links both on our website, on the mailer that we sent out, and also on Celsius.com. I think they have a link to the ambassador program. Come join us. You can, again, We operate already in over 150 countries, and we want to go out, start events, educate people. We'll send you a bunch of shirts and all kind of other stuff. You can give these things out. And I travel all the time, Daniel, and all of us travel all the time. So when we put an event, you can come and work with us on the event, go on stage. We celebrate our ambassadors. So come join Celsius.
Okay, will we ever be able to pay bills via Celsius Network?
You can pay bills today. We have a function called CellPay that allows you to send crypto to anyone, even people that do not have wallets, especially people that do not have wallets, right? So if you haven't used that function, again, it is blocked in a few states, but most countries will enable us to do that. You can take any of your 25 coins, you can send it to anyone as a thank you or as a bill payment or anything else, as long as they accept crypto, right? So, but the next version, 4.1, will enable you to purchase things using your dollars and also pay things using your dollars. So it's coming. We're also going to enable you, for example, to be able to take a paycheck and buy Bitcoin with it automatically, and it will go straight into your Celsius account and earn interest, right? So we are linking many services that exist outside to enable the community to benefit from these things. Also, as you know, we are integrating with many different wallets and exchanges. So if you're using Monarch or Infinito or Voyager or any of those wallets, you can earn interest in your wallet. You know, it's automatically, Celsius is built into the wallet, and we hope to add many, many more of these to our network.
Are we thinking about compounding interest?
So two things we're adding. One is you'll be able to withdraw your interest first. So when you make a withdrawal, the things that comes out first will be the interest, not the principal, the way it is today. So we're reversing that. Again, just a technical thing. I hope in the next version, so 4.2, before the end of the year, you will have that function. And then compounding interest comes after that. So it's probably going to be January or February next year. I'm not sure we do it on all the coins. Again, we already pay almost everything we can, right? So compounding comes out of effectively out of Celsius, which means we have to publish lower rates. So I know, again, some other people use the words compounding, but since they're not earning anything, they can compound anything, right? And use their investors' money to subsidize your rates. Sooner or later, they're going to charge you fees. They're going to charge you all kind of other stuff, right? So nothing is free in this world, right? So if somebody raised 20 or 30 or $100 million, right, like some of these guys did, and they're subsidizing all their customers, they got to be making it somewhere else, right? So if they cannot explain to you how they make the money, then they're charging you somewhere else. For example, park this many coins of mine here and there, use my credit card, and then they charge you 3 or 4% in credit card fees, or they're just using the fact that you are parking money and not paying any interest on it, right? So there's no free lunch, right? At least everything we tell you is straightforward. We tell exactly where we get the stuff, how do we earn it, where does it go, who benefits, how much does Celsius keep, and again, 80-20, why did I choose 80-20, right? It's a great question, because a lot of people kind of say to me, where did you come up with this number? I'll tell you a secret. If you're very, very rich, like I am, and you give your money to these really fancy money managers, right? These people, the hedge funds and institutions like BlackRock and so on, you as the LP, the limited partner, gets to keep 80%, and the general partner, the guy that runs the fund, gets to keep 20%. That's how the rich people have been managing their money for hundreds of years, right? The only problem is none of you have had access to it. Why? Because the minimum ticket to get in is usually $10 million, right? They don't, these guys that make millions on Wall Street don't want to deal with the little guys. So all we did, we took the same formula and we gave it to the average Joe. Anyone on the planet, even if you have $10 or $10 million, you can join Celsius and get exactly the same interest, exactly the same distribution pro rata.
What is the qualification process for new coins being added?
So the qualification is very simple. Can we earn yield on the coin? As you can see, everything we have in the wallet are things we earn yield on. We do not end just coin because it's a great blockchain or because it's extra safe or because it's extra fast. None of those things are utilities that help us or our community. So if you have Dash and you don't know how to stake it, you can give it to Celsius. We put it in cold storage. It's always in cold storage. We do not lend Dash to anybody. 100% of it sits in cold storage with BitGo. It's insured, it's protected, and we stake it. And we give you close to 100% yield of what we earn on those coins. Same thing with EOS, same thing with all the other staking coins. So that's one family, right? Second family are coins that are in high demand, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and so on. So we can yield, we can earn money on those coins by just offering them out to safe borrowers, right? And the third group are stable coins or other assets that yield because we can use them for other purposes, meaning they're fungible. So you can take, for example, USDC or PAX or TUSD and convert them into something else, right? And people are willing to pay you yield for that. That's why the yield on those fungible assets is higher, usually 7 or 8%, because there's much more demand for those than there is for the other asset classes. So we will be adding many, many more. The answer is yes, we will be adding many more yielding assets, but we have to figure out. So for example, we're working on BNB right now. We're working on BUSD. These are assets that we know we can yield on, and we are just putting together all the programs. And we usually launch that, and then 10 other guys copy us because they go, oh, Celsius figured out how to make money on BNB. Great, let's do exactly the same thing.
Who is our typical borrower for cash and stablecoin?
Who is our borrower? So if you think we have, again, 57,000 lenders, these are people who lend us assets, lend us coins. The borrowers, we have a much smaller number. We have maybe 12 exchanges and maybe 150 institutions, right? So these are people that are that have usually at least 10 million in assets. Some of them have hundreds of millions in assets, right? So we know that they have enough cash in the bank. And when they borrow something, they have to give us collateral. If they're small, we require a lot of collateral. If they're big, large, or a public company, for example, we require much less collateral because they represent much less risk to the Celsius community. Our job number one is to make sure that these people return their coins. If they don't return their coins, we use the collateral to buy back the coins and put them back in their accounts. Until today, we have not had any default. We did not have any, even though we had margin calls for a lot of these borrowers, we never had anyone who did not pay us the margin call or did not return the coins, right? So the job we do on behalf of the lenders is make sure that we only interact with safe borrowers. There's about 800 hedge funds. We only work with 150 of them, the top 150. I can tell you there are other lenders in the market who lend with no collateral, who lend to anybody. Good for them. We will never do that because our job number one is to return your coins.
Can you talk about the retail borrowers?
Right, so we also, yes. So we also have retail borrowers. What does it mean, retail borrowers? So if in that 57,000 people, usually 10% of them want a dollar loan. They're saying, look, I don't want to sell my Bitcoin. Either the price is high or the price is low, or I'm a hodler. I want to borrow against it. I heard that the rich people don't sell anything. They don't sell their real estate. They don't sell their stock. They don't sell anything. They just borrow against it, and that's how they defer their taxes, right? Our president, how come he doesn't pay any tax? Because he defers all of his appreciation in this real estate business and he just borrows against it. Just like you can borrow against your Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin or even sell, right? So today the rates go as low as 3.5%. So you can borrow dollars against your Bitcoin and only pay 3.5% per year. We have a calculator on our website, in the app. Use it to see what do you qualify for. Again, everybody's pre-qualified, but the point is it's a percentage of what you own. So it automatically tells you, hey, you own Litecoin, here's how much you can borrow. And what the rate is and what's your monthly payment, right? And those monthly payments are going to be much less than anything you pay on your credit card or your student loan or your car loan or anything like that. I would bet you it would be a third or less of what you're paying today.
Okay, is there a fixed quantity of cell tokens?
Yes, there is a fixed quantity. We minted 695 million. There will never be more. Anyone can audit us at any time and see how many cell tokens in circulation. These are ERC20. So by definition, you can instantly verify exactly how many cell tokens there are. On our website, if you go to Celsius.network and you look at Cell, you will see a listing of all the wallets, where these tokens are, which ones of them are locked, which ones of them are open, how much of them are in circulation. About 250 million or so are in circulation, meaning these are the tokens that other people bought. And again, we're buying several 100,000 every week from the market to put into the community because our community asked us to collect these cell tokens for them. So there's limited supply, there's limited amount in circulation, all of that is fully disclosed, and anyone can audit that and verify that we're telling you the truth.
Okay, if I transfer my Bitcoin and ETH over to Celsius, do I collect interest and the appreciation or depreciation of the coin?
Yes, so you have to think about it this way. These are your coins, they're not our coins. Whatever you put in, if you put in 1 Bitcoin, you will be withdrawing 1 Bitcoin. So if the Bitcoin you deposited was 5,000, but it's now worth 10,000, we don't give you 10,000. We give you 1 Bitcoin back, right? So it's always your Bitcoin. It's always your Ether. It's always your cell token. We pay interest on top of it. So just to use the round numbers, if we pay 5% interest per year, instead of 1 Bitcoin, you're going to have 1.05 Bitcoin after 12 months of being with Celsius. When you withdraw it, you will be withdrawing 1.05 Bitcoin. Whatever the price of Bitcoin is then, that is how much it's worth in dollars. All we care about is that we're earning coins on your coins. Basically, it's the only place where you can earn coins on coins, choose it from any 25 different coins, see it any time. Try that with your bank. Go to your bank and say, here is my paycheck. I want to know where you deposited. I want to know who you lend it to. I want to know how much you're earning. I want to know who you're giving the earnings to. How much of your earnings I'm getting back. They'll laugh at you and kick you out of the bank and take the toaster they gave you 10 years ago.
Will we offer mortgage loans / refis?
So Celsius is here to help the crypto community. By offering mortgages, we will be competing with banks and trying to help, again, financial institutions. That's not our mission. Our mission is to help the disadvantaged, the people who don't have access, the people who want to help us build this financial future, right? So everything we do is thinking about them, not thinking about how do we enable rich people to get even cheaper loans for their fancy homes. That's not what we're here for.
Are we planning on adding a Euro stablecoin?
So we love Euro, we want to add Euro. I'm really shocked that there is no Euro product. The reason we have not added one is that all the products we looked at until now have proven to be not as liquid or as reliable as we wanted, and we will only introduce to our community things that we stand behind, right? So if we're recommending to you a set of assets, like today we're basically saying here's 25 assets that we think are safe, that they do what they publish, right? That they basically, we can stand behind and say, yes, these things do what they say. We don't want to put anything, we don't want to put bad apples with the good apples, right? So we protect the community, right? We only allow good actors into the 57,000. We actually reject more people that are in the community today. We rejected more people than the people who deposited with us, right? And the reason for that is that you don't want bad apples. You don't want a hacker or a criminal or somebody who's the government is after to be part of the community, because the government, this or that government, is going to come and say, hey, you're a bad actor because you're allowing bad actors into your basket. So we protect the community. Then we protect the assets. We basically, it's not that we know everything. It's more about that if we know there's a problem or we cannot explain something ourselves, we would not allow our protected community access to these assets. So some people complain and they say, Alex, you choose these guys, you choose who you like versus what we like. That's not the point. The point is, can we earn yield on it and is it safe? right? These are the things that are most important for us because we're thinking about the next 100 years. We're not thinking about how quickly can we steal money from you like most of the other projects.
Does Celsius want to go public at some point?
So I ran several public companies, like 2 companies public. You know, it's a mixed bag. When I took my company public in 2004, I founded in 1995. This was a VoIP company, Arbanet. This was the best IPO of 2004. Google went public that year, and we did it better than Google on our opening day, right? So what I want is to go public in a way that allows all of you to participate. Not participate, like, for example, buying Uber at all-time highs from the rich people and then having the stock crash 50% on you, right? So we want to create a program in which we're going to enable anyone to participate in the growth of this community, in the growth of the platform. And these are the things we're working on. So, you know, we already have several thousand cell token holders, right? So we, in effect, are already having members from 150 countries, right? And we're doing everything in your best interest. So going public is not something that is going to get us to like new amazing highs. Going public is just one more step in providing or sharing the wealth with the rest of the community. So yes, we have plans, but these plans are including our community. They're not plans to enrich the few venture capitalists or rich people who invested in the company before. As you know, we did not take any money from all the traditional VCs that funded Coinbase and all these other companies that you think are acting in your best interest, right? Even the venture capitalists who are funding a lot of these DeFi projects, you know, you have to ask yourself who, and these companies are going to do extremely well. Who's going to benefit the most? Is that value going to be going to the depositors, to the users, or to the venture capitalists to put the money in the first place? So we don't want to repeat that. I did 7 companies that were all backed by venture capital. Okay, I know how to run that, how to do that better than most. But this time, it's different.
Can Celsius integrate into a decentralized marketplace?
Sure, we can integrate into decentralized. We are effectively, we use smart contract, we use multi-sig, we do exactly the same thing that DeFi projects do. We just do it a little bit differently, right? So we are working on amazing stuff that's going to make the existing DeFi stuff look like a joke, look like a toy. So when this comes out, you'll be saying, wow, I can't believe that these guys came up with this idea, right? This is amazing. This is so much better than me sending my coins to some contract that I thought was safe and secure and reliable. So we don't think that's the end game. We think that's just a stop on the way, and we have a solution that is much better. In the meantime, again, in full transparency, you can audit us 10 different ways, through the blockchain, through Celsius.com, through the stuff we publish. So we think that our transparency is actually higher than most projects. As an example, most of you would know, for example, Compound just voted to lower the rate. Do you know that one vote held 94% of all the votes? So if you think it's decentralized with one guy controlling 94% of the votes, then you have to really go and do your homework, right? So again, I love DeFi, but the system that exists today, where if you borrow, it costs you 11%, but if you lend it, you only get 5%. So basically there's a 50% gap, right? 80-20 is much better than 50-50, all right? So my call on the DeFi community is to deliver more, not less than what Celsius does.
Okay, will interest on Cell fluctuate like it does on other coins, or will it be more stable? The 4% interest we offer on Cell right now.
So interest on Cell will go up and down, hopefully more up, but basically just like the barometer for Bitcoin, the interest on Bitcoin is the demand for Bitcoin. The yield on Cell is an indication of the profitability or how well is Celsius doing. Because if we can pay more on Cell token, that means we're earning more. So we're distributing even more. Again, I'm the largest shareholder, right? But I'm also the largest cell token holder. So for me, there's no conflict. Usually there's a conflict. Usually you have to give all the profits to your shareholders and you take them from the depositors or you take them from the people that, well, that's why you don't earn anything on your bank, right? Because your bank takes all the profits from your checking account, from your paycheck, from your 401k and delivers it to the shareholders as dividends. Here, we are basically taking almost everything and giving it back to the depositors, right? So cell token indicates how profitable that operation is, and it's one more barometer that tells you is Celsius doing well or not. If we raise the rate from 3 to 4%, it's not because we're running out of money and we can't afford anything. It's obviously because we're doing better.
Okay, someone asked, what is the most ideal and realistic law that can happen in the US? I mean, what are we wanting to happen? Is it more likely that it gets better or worse for the US? What do you
For the US economy? For the US?
The laws in the US.
Oh, the laws,
what are we
yeah.
waiting? What are we hoping for?
So I'm going to quote Churchill. You know, Churchill, during World War II, they asked him, and this is before the US entered the war, they asked him, why isn't the US helping us? It's such a powerful country, it has all this military might. And he said, look, the US always does the right thing, but only after it exhausted all other possibilities. And unfortunately, in the crypto space, we are gonna exhaust all the other possibilities before we do the right thing. So that's why you're seeing China, even France, leapfrogging the United States and creating laws and environments that are very crypto friendly. And we are still sitting on our hands, right, in the United States. So it's not that the regulators don't understand what's happening. It's just that because the United States has the reserve currency of the planet, we have more to lose than to gain, right? So we don't want to replace the dollar with something that allows the rest of the world to benefit more than us, right? So we're trying to create something that is empowering the dollar. That's why, for example, Treasury and I think most regulators like stable coins because they're denominated in dollars, but they don't like so much Bitcoin or Ethereum because they are a competing economic system to the US dollar being the reserve currency. So, and I said this publicly, right? We need a new invention. We need something that we create that is using all the benefits of the blockchain, all the benefits of the ecosystem that we created, but that is basically taking advantage all of the trust and the infrastructure that we already created with the financial system that is based on the US dollar. And that's what has not been invented. That has not been created. So the person that's going to invent that is going to create more wealth than Apple, Google, and Microsoft put together. So if you want to be the richest person in the world and you think you know how to do this, I'm happy to partner with you and do it together and plug all that into Celsius.
Is our ICO compliant with US law?
That's a tough question. So if you ask 10 lawyers, is our ICO compliant with US law? You're going to get 10 different answers. So even the SEC themselves, basically by filing selective lawsuits against selective companies, they indicate what is right and what is wrong. So if you see the companies, for example, we did not get any inquiries or any requests for information or any action letters from any of these regulators, right? So we think we're compliant. We did everything in a compliant way. We followed every advice that every lawyer ever told us, right? But that doesn't mean anything because the regulator can come, read something and say, you see, you did not do this, or you didn't do it properly, or you didn't file an amendment, or you didn't do something 3 years later. So again, we're trying to be as compliant as we can. We have an internal compliance department. There are 4 people there that just sit all day and make sure that everything we do is compliant. Again, unlike a lot of other people that try to copy us, who operate overseas, offshore, and do not follow any of these laws, right? So if you follow our app or our website, you will see we say we don't do this in this state, we don't do this in this country, you can't use our service here and there. If you don't see any of those restrictions, that tells you that this other company or companies are not following the laws, right? Because how can it be that Celsius is blocking Japan, but this other company, for example, is allowing services in Japan? So these are things that should raise red flags, because when these guys are going to get shut down, because obviously they're breaking laws, your coins are going to be at risk.
Who do you see as our main competitors?
So our main competitors are the banks, right? Because if you think of the billions of people that, again, give their money for free, right? For example, I get my paycheck. I deposited, we work with Wells Fargo. I deposited with Wells Fargo, and then Kristen uses her credit card to charge her Wells Fargo credit card. It's not that Wells Fargo gave her the money. I gave her the money. It's my money that Wells Fargo lent to her instantly. The second it hit the bank, it instantly gets lent out to borrowers on the other side of this credit card. So I get nothing. I get zero from Wells Fargo. Yes, I say bad things about banks every day. Zero, nothing, nada. Okay? And they turn around and they charge Kristen 24% a year on her credit card. They keep 100% of that. You get nothing. You get nothing. You did all the work. You created the money. You earned it. They just a broker who introduced you to Kristen, and they get to keep all that money, right? So just in the United States, just in the last 12 months, Americans paid $460 billion in interest to the banks. They got almost zero. The average interest rate in the United States is less than 1%. So do you want to continue that system? Because every time you deposit money in the bank, every time you use a credit card, you're empowering a middleman. So we are offering a system that bypasses that. It replaces the bank, unbank yourself, replaces the bank with a service that acts in your best interest. So when you lend to Kristen, she's going to pay 9%, and you're going to earn 7% out of that. You're going to get 7% on your money automatically. You don't have to do paperwork. You don't have to move it to a savings account. You don't have to do anything, right? That's the beauty of this network, is that we're charging Kristen a third of what the Wells Fargo charges her, and you get to pay, you get to earn 100 times more than what the bank gives you. So you decide if this is acting in your best interest or not acting in your best interest. So a lot of people come to me and say, Alex, come on, maybe you won the fight against the phone companies, but there were no banks. The banks are the most powerful and profitable companies in the world. They already have all the money. How are you going to win against the banks? Okay? Aren't you afraid for your life? You know, so it's very simple. The piece that everybody misses, and you get to hear it first, is called fractional reserves. You see, when Wells Fargo takes your deposit and they lend it to her, they keep 10% and they lend 90%. And when she deposited in her bank, that bank gets to lend 90%. That's called fractional reserves. So they basically create money out of money, and they usually do 10, 20, even 50 times leverage, meaning for every dollar they have, they lend out $50, right? The Deutsche Bank is more than 50 to 1 leverage. So when you withdraw $1, they have to collapse or call back $50. That's where the leverage is. When you withdraw, when you stop depositing your money with the bank, the pain for the bank is 10 times, 20 times, 50 times greater than you think. You think your measly $1,000 is not going to have any impact. But the reality is, just like we left the phone companies, we all left AT&T and we stopped using them. We use Skype and WhatsApp and every other VoIP service, right? They lost 1 customer. But when you leave the bank, they lose 50 customers. They don't lose 1 customer because of the fractional reserve, because they're fully leveraged, because there's more debt and more leverage in the system than ever before. So right now, anyone who leaves the bank inflicts the most pain in history that you can inflict on the bank. And that is the secret to the crypto community success. This is how we win against the banks.
Are we moving to Wyoming?
I love Wyoming. I mean, it's just the fresh air, the plains, the mountains. And after we have 100 million users, maybe.
When can we, 1, buy crypto directly from the app, and 2, have a fiat on-ramp to the app?
Fiat on-ramp is coming before January 1st, believe it or not. And you can today borrow any crypto against any crypto in the app. Just try it out. You can deposit Bitcoin, withdraw Ethereum, deposit Bitcoin, withdraw stable coins, and so on and so on. We're the only people that do that. And we're going to be adding more and more coins around that, right? So We also raised the limit. It used to be 20,000 per day. Now it's 50,000 per day automatically, right? If you want to withdraw more than that, you can withdraw 10 million with no restrictions. You can deposit 10 million in the morning and withdraw 10 million in the afternoon. We just do additional verification. We want to make sure that you didn't get hacked, that your phone wasn't stolen, that you're not sitting in a tight chair and somebody's demanding that you give them all your coins, right? So all these things are protection that we provide to make sure. Try to ask your smart contract to do that for you. Let's see how that works, right? So all these extra level of protection, BitGo, plus all the other stuff we're doing, Fireblocks, plus verification, right? A video verification that makes sure that you're moving, not just created a fake picture with you in today's newspaper, and so on. So these are things that are acting in your best interest, because I know everybody who thinks that it's not your keys, it's not your Bitcoin. We're not going to bring the next 7 billion people into crypto if we require everybody to be a pro at managing their own keys. I think, frankly, we ran out of people that know how to manage their keys. So our solution is designed for the next 100 million people. We're not trying to replace the people that believe they should hold their keys with Celsius. We're trying to bring a very good reason, very important reason for the rest of the world to come and join us. Because right now, many people think we're crazy. They look at us and they say, what? Your money is in some chain and it's numbers in the cloud, and there's like all kind of mining ant miners who are running around and enforcing it and validating it. That makes no sense whatsoever, right? So if I explain to you how real money works, that makes even less sense than anything in crypto, okay? So frankly, crypto is sanity compared to the insanity that's going on with the Fed and the ECB and all these other guys who are printing, creating money out of nowhere, creating $1 trillion deficits every year, and think that we can just kick the can down the road and nothing happens. Guess what? All they're doing, the Fed and the ECB, are reaching with their hand into the future and stealing from our children and grandchildren. Because all this debt that is created is going to come due, and it's all going to be paid by our kids or our grandkids.
Does Celsius want to be a bank? Will we offer checking and savings accounts?
Do we want to be a bank? That's why it says unbank. If we wanted to be a bank, it would say bank, right? Unbank yourself. A bank is a bad institution. It's a broken institution. It's an old institution. The whole idea of banking is 700 years old. If I brought you a 700-year-old sausage, would you eat it? That's what a bank is, okay? So we want to replace this with the 21st century financial system that acts in your best interest, that is fully transparent, that has no leverage, that does not allow debt, that is deflationary. Yes, deflationary is good. It's good for you. It's bad for the government.
If Alex dies, are we screwed?
I have a clone. It's sitting and waiting for me. If anyone kills me, the clone jumps in and takes over. Seriously, look, the whole point is that Celsius now is about 65 people. It's not about me, right? I mean, we have the rest of our community, the rest of our people are just as passionate as I am about this. And frankly, you don't need me. You can do everything I just described in this network without me, right? The point is, our success or failure has nothing to do with me being around. It all has to do with how many people join the network and how much do they do in deposit. And can we continue earning yield for everybody? Because as long as we perform these functions, more people will join. And eventually we will force the banks to pay us fair value as well, right? Just like the phone company no longer charges you for long distance. How did that happen? It's not because AT&T loves you. It's because AT&T had no choice. They lost all their customers.
What are we doing to counteract people earning higher interest in sell and then selling it on the market immediately?
Higher interest in sell, people are selling it. So we published the HODL ratio. The HODL ratio for sell is how many coins did we buy versus how many were withdrawn from the wallets, right? So if we bought whatever, 12 or 13 or 15 million tokens and only 1 million were withdrawn, that's about a 92-93% HODL ratio. That is the ratio between the people that are selling their tokens and the people that are holding their tokens. So today there's a very high HODL ratio. The problem we have is that we just don't have enough users. If we had 10 times as many users, the price to sell would be increasing much faster. So we, as I said at the beginning of this interview, or AMA, we've added close to 10,000 users in the last month. That is double what we used to add before. So there's a big acceleration. You're going to see that. You can see it in the app already. You can see how many new KYCs are added every day, how many new depositors. So you can see that acceleration. That acceleration should also translate most of these users. I would say 80% of these users are not from the United States, right? So you should see also acceleration in the demand for sell. And we're also introducing community buyback, meaning we are going to buy additional sell tokens, not just what we need for the purchase of sell every week, but we're going to be buying additional amounts. We're publishing the wallets where it's going to happen. We're publishing the amounts. So over the next 3 months, we're going to be buying an additional 10 BTC and 600 ETH worth of sell token. We're going to be publishing the programs. The administrator of the program, it's an external administrator that actually does that for us, and you'll be able to audit all of that. You'll be able to see where these tokens get bought, on what exchange, at what price, where are they, how much of them are still in the Celsius Omnibus wallet, and how many of them were withdrawn. Full transparency, so you can basically do the math on deposits, earnings, right, interest income, and the reverse. What happens to the sell token? How many got bought? How many of them are being sold in the market? The issue with the price to sell has nothing to do with people selling, people who earn in sell token selling. We had a big ICO user who had a lot of sell tokens, and for whatever reason they decided to sell. They have another million or two sell tokens that they need to sell, and I hope that after that we will see the end of the selling pressure. Also, the price to sell right now, because the sell orders are all pegged to ETH, it's a fixed price on ETH. When ETH goes down, the price to sell goes down. So when that is finished, you will see a separation of the price to sell and the price of ETH.
Ernesto wants to know if you'll run for president.
I wasn't born in the United States, so I cannot run for president. I can run for president of the coffee shop, but no, I am here. I'm not a politician. I hate politics. I don't think you can solve any of the things I just talked about through politics. The only way we solve this is if we do something for ourselves. The only way we solve this is if we bring 100 million of our friends and family to this community, because we believe in it and they need to believe in it. If they believe that we are doing it in their best interest, they will join. No politician and no businessman is going to do it for you because no one cares about you. If you think anyone out there wakes up in the morning and try to work for you, you're wrong. You have to work for you. And you have to decide who is acting in your best interest and empower those people instead of empowering people who steal from you every day. These guys, the banks.
Why do we only have a mobile app, and are we planning on adding a desktop?
Does Uber need a desktop version? Anyone here would vote for an Uber desktop version? Today, money is dynamic. Money is with you 24 hours a day. All you need is your phone and you can manage all your money. So we want to concentrate all of our development efforts into 1 or 2 products. We do best. We do better than anyone else on the planet. And that's what Celsius is today. We don't want to dilute that with being an exchange or running a website or doing other things that are not in your best interest. If any, the only reason to do all those things is try to collect fees from you. And as you know, we don't charge any fees. We don't plan to charge any fees.
Are there any company acquisitions in Celsius's future roadmap?
Yes, we already bought one company. We announced about a year ago. We are looking at a few more. And when we see a team that has the same spirit, the same passion, that wants to make the world a better place, that wants to do good and only do well after they do good, these are the people we want to work with. These are the people we want to partner with. So if you have any suggestions or if you think you should be part of the Celsius network, just email me, alex@celsius.network. Pretty easy.
Would we put an exchange functionality inside your app?
You see, I can predict the next question. No, we will not be putting exchange functionality inside the app because the only reason to allow you to exchange is if you are not a hodler. Celsius is a hodler community. Our people mostly do not transact. That's why we make the shirts that say hodl in very large letters. Hodl, hodl, right? Our job is to convince you not to sell. We give you loans so you don't sell. We help you earn interest so you don't sell, right? We give you sell so you don't sell, right? So if you are selling your tokens or coins, that means you do not believe in the mission, or you are here just for speculative reasons, which is fine. But that means you probably belong on an exchange where most people are speculators, right? Most people are just trading all day long. So we don't want to give you that temptation. We want to basically create a garden that protects your assets. It's a nest egg. It's earning interest. You shouldn't be touching it, right? And you should be depositing more and more and earning more and more until it comes a day where you're earning enough that you don't have to work anymore. We have customers that pay their entire mortgage just from their Celsius interest. That should be you, right? But they trust us more than others, right? Because they both obviously give us more on deposit and they're earning more. So that is the dream. The dream is for all of you is that your money earns money instead of you having to go out. Most of us work in a job we don't like. Right? Most of us don't work in Celsius, where we just love, can't wait to wake up in the morning and go and make the world a better place. So if you work in a job you don't like, you have to solve that problem. The best way to solve that problem is to have your money earn money so you can go and get another job.
Why do we require so much personal information like social security number?
So the only reason we ask so many questions, and specifically where do you live and social security and things like that, is to be compliant. You asked me before, there was a question before about are we compliant, are we regulated, are we following all the rules? And this is a very good example, right, of why. For example, we have to report to the IRS through a Form 1099 how much interest we gave you if you're a U.S. Resident, right, a citizen. So to follow that rule, we have to ask you for your social security because on the form we have to fill out that information. And if you're a foreign citizen, then we don't have to ask you that information. We don't. We're not trying to collect any information on you or use that information. We don't sell any information to anybody else. We don't allow anybody else to access that information. The only reason we do that is either for tax reason or compliance reasons, right? And we guard that. Everything is encrypted. All of that is guarded with several layers of security. I used to be in the Israeli military. I was in counterintelligence. The entire team here comes from the best units in the military. Our job was to protect the country that is being attacked by everybody every day, right? The best hackers in the world trying to break into. So our job, and job number one, is to make sure we can at all times return your coins to you. That is our entire job. And job number two is to remember job number one.
What will Celsius look like in 5 years?
In 5 years, we're gonna have 100 million users. That's exactly the day. The 5-year anniversary is 100 million users. Look, we don't plan to do much more. It's not like we're gonna have 50 services in 5 years. If you could tell me, look, in 5 years, you're just gonna have 2 services. You're gonna earn interest and you're gonna issue loans and you're gonna have 100 million users, I'm willing to sign off right now. We will not do anything else. So our job is not to add more and more and more. Our job is to make it easier and easier and easier to earn, easier and easier and easier to get a loan, and easier and easier and easier for you to have your assets in a safe environment that is not correlated to the US dollar, right? I'm afraid of the US dollar. I'm afraid of what will happen to our economy and our assets if we have to pay back $127 trillion, yes, $127 trillion of debt plus unfunded liabilities, right? So that is what I'm afraid of, and I'm trying to create a safe environment for all of you where you can store that value, some of that value, at least 5 or 10% of your net worth, in case doomsday shows up. And in the meantime, also earn interest on all of that.
If Bitcoin crashes to $3,000, what would that mean for Celsius?
So Bitcoin already crashed to $3,000. When we started Celsius, Bitcoin was at 14,000. It went down all the way to 3,500, and then it went back to 20. We already tested the Celsius network under all conditions, again and again and again. Again, remember, we're not long Bitcoin or short Bitcoin. It's not like we're making our money by creating a leverage position or taking risk or whatever. All we do is just lend coins, right? So when there is volatility, when prices go up and down very quickly, there is higher demand, meaning you're going to earn more. So in a way, even though the price of Bitcoin may be going down, you're actually earning more. Again, Celsius.com has an excellent chart that shows you the history of how much Celsius paid over the last 2 years. It shows you week by week, month by month, how much we paid on BTC and ETH and so on. And you can see that the Celsius chart of earning is non-correlated. It's the opposite of what's happening to Bitcoin. So when there's a lot of volatility in Bitcoin, we actually earn more. When there's no volatility, when the price was stagnant at 4,000 or whatever, we earn less, right? Because there was less demand for loans, less demand for borrowing. So again, you want what investors dream about are non-correlated ways to earn money on their money. And that's what Celsius delivers here.
Someone else is asking what you look for in a job candidate.
I'm looking for your passion for our mission. That's all that matters. If you have passion, if you really believe in this, and you know something better than all of us at Celsius, you have to know at least one thing better than all of us. Either it's in marketing, or it's math, or it's in finance, or in any of the areas that we have inside the company, right? Because that's how we improve or increase the talent pool in the company. So you have to have the passion, and you have to know something, and at least half of our company is women. At least 3 of our women have to vote for you and say, okay, this person is great. He should join the team from a culture standpoint, right? So getting 3 votes, 3 out of 25. So
a lot of people are asking about New York.
New York, I love New York. I live in New York. We're launching New York next week. I just spilled the beans. So if you want to be a beta participant, email Kristen at Celsius.network. No, you can email me too, Alex at Celsius.network, and we'll add you to the beta program. Again, this is for residents of New York State. You have a New York driving license, you live in New York, and you want to deposit coins or take a loan. Those are the things that will put you on the program. And the general launch is probably like January. So if you don't want to do the beta, you want to wait for the next version that will come out. So you're running out of power.
Oh.
Yeah, next question.
Last question. What are our next milestones we're looking to hit? We just announced huge numbers. What's the next?
Yeah, so we just announced 4.25 billion in loans, right? That's more than all the other guys put together. How can it be? There's a lot of FUD out there about Celsius. How can it be? How can these guys do so much better than everybody else? They came out of nowhere. They didn't exist 2 years ago. Look, all of this success is due to all of you. It has nothing to do with us. All we decided to do is give you 80% back, right? All of you, 57,000 of you, who decided to trust us, decided to empower this program, who decided to enable us to do this for you and for your children, are the ones who get all the credit for the success of Celsius, right? So, but the job isn't done, right? I mean, we're not even halfway there. If we want to change the system, again, we need to bring many, many, many more people into this platform, and we need to enable them to benefit from the same benefit you're benefiting on. So we created these features inside the system. You can use your codes, promotional codes in your profile. You earn money. The people you bring in earn money. You can use CellPay to send some of your coins, say thank you, and send Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other token to anyone on the planet. Anyone who has an SMS or WhatsApp or an email, you can use any of those services. Try it out, right? It's right on the main menu. You just hit CellPay and you send a gift to somebody. We're about to hit the gift season, so there's no better gift than saying thank you to your family, to your friends with a few Satoshis or a few Cell tokens. Thank you very much. Again, we have several hundred of you come and participate with us. And share this link. Let's share the love. Let's educate everybody. And that's the only thing I have to ask from you is that you go out and bring more people into the crypto community. Right? The success of this community is only based on what you talk about at Thanksgiving and New Year's. Right? That's what this is all about. If you convince other people that this is in their best interest, and we grow the community, the prices of all the coins are going to rise. If we don't convince anybody and people leave the community because they ran out of patience or they bought coins at 20,000 and now they're at 8,000 or whatever, the prices of all of our coins are going to go down, right? Because the price of all of these, the price of Bitcoin, the price of Ethereum is an indication of the trust of the community, of the growth of the community. All of us vote on the price every day by either buying or selling our coins. Thank you very much, and if you have any suggestions, anything we can do better, email it to us, come visit us. We're in New York, in Manhattan, 43 West 23rd Street, 6th floor. We're here every day. Would love to come and see you and talk to you about it, about how we can make the service better. Take care.